The Crimson Tide recorded a 19-15 overall record and a 10-8 mark in league play last year, while advancing to the NIT. To ask a question of Coach Johnson, press star 1 now. Coach, while we wait on questions, could you give us a few comments on your team looking ahead at next season?
Well, good morning. We're just about to conclude our summer session 1, and we've had some really good individual workouts on the court, and our kids are doing well in the classroom, so I'm excited about that. We've had to incorporate 6 new players to our team, 5 freshmen, and 1 red shirt, Daniel Giddings from last year, to combine all of those guys with the returning players. So it's been pretty exciting in terms of trying to get all of those guys blended together and on the same page. So overall, the team is healthy. We're only missing one of our players, Tevin Mack, who's been admitted to school, who's going to join us for summer session 2, and he'll redshirt next year after transferring in from Texas. But overall, the team is doing good. We hired a new coach, Yasir Roseman, who came to us from the University of Georgia after spending some time in the Pac-12 coaching. And so we're excited. We feel we're all on the same page. This is our 3rd year now, with this program, and we feel, it's healthy, and we're all in a good state of mind in terms of what we've built here over the first 2 years, and hopefully we'll be ready to take that next step.
Our first question is from Charlie Potter of Bama Online.
Hey, Coach. How's it going?
Hello.
I just wanted to ask about Daniel Giddens. I know you guys have a limited time on the floor, but how is he acclimated to an increased role now that he's finally eligible?
Yeah, Daniel, he's been doing great, and he's worked hard. He went through a comprehensive red shirt program, and he's gotten stronger, and he's expanded his game a little bit. Obviously we need him to do a lot of what Bowler did for us last year in terms of rebounding the basketball on both ends of the floor. We think he'll be a better offensive player inside and be able to finish inside a little bit more. But also, being able to take his game out to, maybe 14, 15 feet and playing off the bounce a little bit and maybe initiating some offense from around that free throw area because he's a big guy that can pass the ball. So we like his development. He's still a young guy. He went to college at 17, so he's still a young guy, even though, he's going to be a redshirt sophomore. So he's gotten better and better, and hopefully he'll be able to fill in and play some with Dante, and also when Dante's not in the game, be able to hold out in the middle for us.
I wanted to also ask you if I can get another one in. I know you guys are heading to Canada in August, so just wanted to know, what are some of your short-term goals that you want to see accomplished before you guys head north?
Well, the first thing is we are allowed, per NCAA rules, to have 10 practices prior to going to Canada. So I'm looking forward to having that increased practice time. That's going to be more than the 2 hours on the court that we're allotted with our all-season program. So those practices are going to be very important for us to try to look at, different combinations. Do we want to play big? Do we want to play small? Who's handling the primary ball handler with a certain group? Do we want to have multiple ball handlers? So we feel we're going to have a lot of versatility and flexibility, and we want that to carry over into our games in Canada. Just being able to look at different lineups, different rotations, mixing up our defenses a little bit, and we'll be able to have 3 games worth of information on video that we can evaluate going into the fall.
Thanks, Avery.
Okay.
Next up is Jerry Tipton of the Lexington Herald-Leader.
Avery, last week Mike Krzyzewski said that he thought the one-and-done rule ought to be looked at by the NBA and the Players Association. and players should stay in college longer than a year, or if they want to go right out of high school, go for it. How do you feel about that?
I have somewhat mixed feelings about it because I want to try to do what's best for the player on one hand, and I think there are exceptions like Kobe Bryant and Kevin Garnett and players, LeBron, that can come straight out of high school. But I just don't want a young man that's not his trajectory to not be focused in high school and think that he's a kid that can come straight out of high school and go straight to the NBA. But if we can figure out a way to have those kids where there's an exception to the rule, where he's a superior talent, and he's got that type of talent that he can go straight from high school to the NBA, let's do it. But then on the other hand, I hope that the kids that do attend college can stay for at least 2 years, maximum 3, before they are allowed to go to the NBA.
And just as a follow on the Canadian trip, where exactly are you guys going in Canada?
Well, we're going to play Jerry in both Montreal and Ottawa. We'll play one game in Montreal and 2 games in Ottawa. And I think we sent out an official release June 23rd. So if you want to go on our site, they'll give you all the specifics about it.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry.
And next up is Bob Holt of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, Bob.
Hey, I was wondering what you thought about, I guess, the talent that Cuonzo Martin have been able to get to Missouri in a relatively short period of time since taking the job.
Well, I think it's great. Cuonzo obviously has had a heck of a run coaching in the SEC and coaching out west, and now, bringing a really talented team and assembling a really talented team at Missouri in a short period of time. I think it's great for Missouri. It's great for the SEC, and I think it's going to continue to upgrade SEC basketball. We're trying to position ourselves where we can get 7 or more teams in the NCAA tournament, and that means we have to have really good wins against each other in conference, and hopefully, some of the losses that we may encounter against each other won't be as devastating because of all, the teams in our conference are going to be much stronger, and the RPIs are going to be a lot higher, and our strength of schedules are going to be really good, and so I think it's great for the league, and that's a team that's looking to go from worst to first, and I think if they can position themselves, somewhere in the middle or upper part of the league, I think that's going to be really good for the entire league. I'm just hoping that Alabama's up there, somewhere at the top. If all goes well with us and we can play well and make some shots and take care of the ball and defend and do all of the things that we got to do. But when you look at the strength of the teams in our conference right now, I know you had Mike on earlier, Anderson and Arkansas, and they're going to be tough to beat. And Florida's going to be tough to beat. Kentucky's always tough to beat. And A&M, and Billy Kennedy does a great job with A&M. And it's great. Mike's done a heck of a job with Arkansas. So, I think it's going to be great for the league what Cuonzo's doing at Missouri and the talent that he's assembled in a short period of time.
And Robert Williams coming back to A&M, I think a lot of people may have thought he was gone because he was, listed as a pretty high draft pick. What do you think that does for A&M to have a guy back like him?
Yeah, it's rare where you can have a guy that's projected to go in the NBA lottery, not just the first round, but the lottery, to return to school. So, obviously, he wanted to come back and develop a little bit more, and some kids actually do like college, and they're not in a hurry. So it's going to be tough because, 2 of those kids I know very well, Tyler Davis and DJ Hogue, and, now Robert's back, and I heard, from what I'm hearing, they're going to have better guard play because, maybe one of the kids that were ineligible is eligible now. So you look for Texas A&M to try to make a move this year in conference, and we're going to have a lot of really tough, hard-nosed games where a lot of games are probably going to be won in the last 2 or 3 minutes. So, because teams are going to be that closely matched, so it's going to be very exciting in the SEC and basketball this year.
Okay, Coach, we appreciate your time this morning.
Okay, thank you.